Good morning. Jesus is speaking in his childhood synagogue and basically telling the people that they're, unfaithful. And he highlights what we heard from the first reading, Naaman the Syrian, who has leprosy and comes to Elisha desiring to be healed. And he's hoping for some really cool, miraculous healing where Elisha's going to do something. He's going to put on a show. It says he's going to wave his hand over his body and do stuff. But instead he just says, go to the Jordan and dunk yourself in there 7 times. And the Jordan is this kind of, grossish river. It's like, go to Lake Allatoona in the wintertime when it's half drained and dunk yourself in there and you'll be fine. And Naaman's like, come on, I want something better than that. I want something cool. Do one of your miracles. And I think a lot of times for us, we want the same thing. We say, God, come on, don't just, let me be normal, but give me some awesome, cool, great healing. Give me some awesome, cool, great power. Help me to go out and to preach the gospel, like St. John Chrysostom with a golden tongue, and help me to do all these things so that we can see you. And God says, no, I gave you 7 sacraments. Use those. Right? Elisha sends Naaman to submerge himself in the Jordan River 7 times. That number 7 is important to us. And so we recognize the 7 sacraments that Christ instituted for us for our salvation. They're not optional. It's not things that we just look and say, oh, that's nice, there's those sacraments. Receive communion, and well, that's only one sacrament. Do we avail ourselves of the sacrament of confession, especially during this time of Lent? Do we recognize that God desires to heal us from our spiritual leprosy, that is, the sins that disfigure our soul? He desires to heal us from those, but not in some great magic, fancy, cool way, but through the humble act of confession, through the absolution given by a sinful priest, through the action of us confessing our sins, of saying what we've done, of saying how we've offended God, of asking for His mercy. That He gives us the sacraments that help us to live our lives daily. That in recognizing that within the bonds of holy matrimony, the sacrament of marriage, God gives those of you who are in the bond of marriage this opportunity to grow in holiness. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's easier than not, but a lot of times it's difficult. Kind of pushing and pulling each other towards heaven. And so, much like Naaman the Syrian, we have to trust that God desires to heal us, but He's going to do it in His way. He's not going to do it with some great trick. He's not going to do it with some cool show, but rather simply through the signs that He's instituted, through the sacraments that He's given to us. And are we like the Nazarenes who hear that and get all upset? How dare you tell me I need to go to confession? How dare you tell me I need to just trust in God? But indeed, that's the simplicity of it. I've said before, Christianity, it seems too good to be true. God comes to us and He says, you're fallen, you've sinned, you've messed up. I love you. Are you sorry? I'll forgive you. And we hear that simple message that Jesus gives to us. It's not all of the different widows, but it was just the one who is healed. It's not all the different lepers, it's just the one who is healed. And for us to have that faith that God can heal us, that God can fix us, that God can restore us. So as we continue in this time of Lent, and this time of prayer, fasting, and almsgiving, let us ask the Lord to increase our trust in Him, to recognize indeed that He can heal us, that He desires to heal us, and that we in our humility need to allow ourselves to be healed.